Okay, and we are live here on emrhl Radio. Yeah. Clapping going from the crowd here as we approach Alumni Day, which is going to be this Saturday, June 28th, 2014. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about what's happening on Alumni Day and what the deal's going to be, so I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can here in this little show I'm going to do right now. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the itinerary, then I'll break down some of the details, and even a little bit of league history going back to how this whole thing started. All that's coming up next. Okay, first things first. We're kicking things off at 9 a.m. on Saturday. The day is going to run 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Obviously, you do not have to be there the entire time unless you want to. So what's going to happen is at 9 a.m., we're going to have open floor time. So from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., upstairs, inside rink, it's open floor time. Now, what that means is I don't have teams set up. I don't even really have an accurate head count right now, okay? More details on that in just a minute. So from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we get 2 hours of open floor time. At 11 a.m., we have the championship game, the Saturday morning championship game between Northern Division champions Russia and South Division champions Latvia. So that'll take place at 11 a.m. Actually, I still need a couple of refs for that. I might even do 3 refs for that. Make it easier on everybody. So some of the guys coming up that day, I might ask a couple of you guys to ref because I'm supposed to play in that game if my groin lets me play. So 11 to 12 is the championship game. We'll probably do some photos, cup presentation, all that stuff. And then if it's nice, and I hope it is, as long as it's not raining, if it's cloudy or whatever, fine, or if it had rain, whatever, but if it's not a bad day, the idea is to go out back afterwards, starting at about 12 noon, and stay out back until about 5. So we have the floor out back and the outside rink from 12 to 5. If it is raining and it's too bad to go outside, then we are going to stay inside upstairs till 5. So that is the itinerary. Open floor, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. inside, then going outside from 12 to 5. We're hoping to have Vinny Bianco up there with the food around 12:30 if you paid for food, if you paid for the day with that type of thing there. He's going to have sausages with peppers and onions and hot dogs. We're also going to have bags of chips and Doritos and things like that. I bought a couple of cases of water. I don't know if I'll have enough for everybody. I think I bought, four between Gatorade and water. Hopefully it's enough. But anyway, if you're coming up, definitely bring something to drink just in case, for the food part of the whole thing. Again, we're going to probably, because there's actually a rental up there from 10 to 12. If you can believe it, Outback there's a rental from 10 a.m. to noon. So we can't really set up any earlier than noon. So that's why we push back the food till about 12:30 that day. And again, it's going to be kind of stadium food, grab and go. It's not really a big sit-down thing. So it's kind of stadium food, grab and go with the sausages and the hot dogs and the chips and whatever. Out back, if you've never been there, there's a little hill you drive up, and that's how you get to the rink out back, okay? There's not a lot of parking up there. You can probably get 5 or 6 cars maybe up there. Vinny definitely needs a spot. I need a spot for my truck because I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm bringing up. So if you have a car, I'm asking everybody with just a car to park down the bottom, okay? If you have a truck, a pickup truck or an SUV, if you want to come up to the top, because what I'm thinking is there's no place to sit up there. So if you have a pickup truck, you can drop the hatchback down, and that's a good place to sit because we're always looking for places to sit. The same with an SUV. You can open it up and you can sit in the back, or even a minivan, I guess. So if you have just a car, can you just not go and clog the spots up at the top? If you have a pickup truck or a SUV, a minivan, something that you can open, we can sit 2 or 3 people on. We can bring that up at the top, and that's a good place to sit. Speaking of that, if you can bring a chair, that'd be great, or chairs, a couple of chairs, anything for people to sit on. Even a cooler. I know I'm bringing up my cooler, so that's something we can sit on. I'm going to fill that up full of water and Gatorade with some ice in the whole bit. So the idea is to make this a nice social event all day long. See some people you haven't seen in a long time. Say hi, and also get in some skating. Okay. So that's the itinerary. 9 to 11 open floor, 11 to 12 championship game, 12 to 5 Outback, another open floor all day long, and again, weather providing, and then 12:30 food. Okay, at 9 o'clock. Okay, so that's all the itinerary. So let me play some music here, and then we'll get into the actual details of it all. Okay, first off, if you are going to skate, you definitely need the full equipment. Like, show up like you were going to play a regular EMRHL game, okay? I don't want anybody out there with just skates and a stick, okay? You got to have, the typical helmet, gloves, shin pads, okay? We need to keep everybody safe for this event. I know it's just going to be a fun thing. We're all just going to be screwing around. But show up with your gear. No matter how old or how bad it is, you got to show up with your gear. Just if anybody falls, I don't want them hitting a knee or a hand or anything like that. So, again, gloves, shin pads, helmets, and obviously the indoor wheels that you know about. So bring your full gear if you're going to skate and plan on playing like you're in a full game. Okay, at 9 o'clock, again, the first 2 hours, I don't know how many people are coming. I tried to get a count, kind of lost count. Guys are coming, guys are going. So the idea is if we have too many guys, we're just going to rotate them in. Maybe we'll take the first group of 12 and we'll play for 10 or 15 minutes. And then the second group of 12 and play 10 or 15 minutes. And that's how we're going to do the day, is just short games, get everybody skating. If you don't expect to show up and play a full hour game, that's how it's not going to be, because that means someone's going to be sitting around for an hour. So what I'd like to do is like some of the tournaments we used to do, like 10, 15, 20-minute games tops. Boom, boom, boom. Next group out, boom. Next group out, boom. Same out back. In fact, Outback is probably going to need some help, too, with someone that might organize this. So, what I think would be cool is if we have some of the original guys up there, the Jay Browns, the Spencers, if Higgins shows up. I don't know if Louis Carmona's coming up. I haven't talked to him. But I know Steve Burdick actually was an original member, too. Any of the guys that played back in the day, maybe we have them all on the same team. And maybe we all have them just go out and play. If we can find enough original guys to have a game 4-on-4 with a couple of goalies, that might be kind of neat to do for a short game. Maybe we find some of the older guys. I know Ernie's going to be up there. Obviously, I'm one of the old guys as far as age goes. Maybe we can throw all those guys on a team and play. So you get. Can you feel what I'm spraying here? Can you feel what I'm spraying? Can you? Where's my leg? Yeah. I don't know if you can or not. But the idea is that if maybe you haven't played with somebody, maybe Sherwood Butler's supposed to come up. Maybe you haven't played with Sherwood. Jack King's coming up. Hey, Jack, let's play. So the idea is, hey, let's just throw together some teams and play. Then you come out, sit down, have a water, and then go back out and play again with somebody else. So we're not going to set teams. And unless 4 or 5 guys are happy playing together and they want to go out, I kind of don't care. Okay, I plan on spending the day socializing. I'll go out and I'll skate, and then I'm going to socialize, and that's what I'm encouraging everybody else to do. So as far as the hockey goes, there's no set plan. There's no set teams. Obviously, if we have 8-on-8, we'll play a longer game. If we only come up with 5 or 6 guys that want to play at a given time, we'll play a shorter game. But the idea is keep it moving, keep it rolling. Hockey gangbang. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Hockey gangbang? Yeah. Just go out and play. And come off and play and come off. Now, obviously, as we get later on in the day, guys will be peeling off and going home. So the chances of you skating more and longer will probably happen towards the end of the day. That's what I'm hoping to go out and play goalie myself if the leg holds up, is I'm going to bring all my goalie gear up. But we have a lot of goalies coming up. So you guys all play the early games, and then you guys, from 12 to 2 or whatever, go out and play. And then I might suit up and go play in the game. I know Ray from Connecticut's coming up, and we were going to square off in a matchup. For fun. But that's what it is. I want to take a lot of pictures. So if you guys, take the pictures, upload it to the EMRHL Facebook page. I'll have my camera there. I know a couple of you guys have some really nice cameras, too, if you want to go up and take some pictures. Again, it's a big deal. It's 15 years. We got guys coming that haven't played with us and that might never come back and play again, but they're stopping in for this. So I think it'd be great. Take a ton of photos, big meet and greet, and the whole bit. Let me see. So that kind of is the details about the actual hockey. Again, probably going to try to serve the food around 12:30. So if you show up at 4 and the food's gone or put away, so again, we're shooting for a 12:30 food time, and then as long as it lasts, and we'll try to make sure everybody that paid obviously gets food because that's what you paid for. But again, showing up in the last hour, if that's going to be the case, let me know, and I'll try to put something aside for you. But we're going to try to serve the food all at once around, between 12:30 and 1:30, whatever. Get that all done, and then just spend the rest of the game chatting and skating. All right, quick break, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the events going on that day. Okay, so as mentioned, if you got chairs or a blanket or anything to sit on, please bring that up. Obviously, if we're inside, you probably won't need that because there's just benches there. But if we, especially if we're outside, to sit down on a blanket, sit on the ground would be better than just sitting on the ground or the dirt or whatever is up there. There's not a lot of room up there, by the way. Let's see. I am going to try to have some kind of a canopy up there over the table for the food, so we'll need help setting that up. So if anybody's around that could go out back about 11:45. Now, we might have to, I don't want to say fight with, but wait for the 10 to 12 group to disperse where we can really set up properly up there. I don't know how they're going to set up. I talked to the guy. He was really nice, and he was going to try to really work with us as far as allowing us to set up and them not being in the way. But you know how it is trying to control hockey guys. So if they pack up and they take up all the parking spots, yeah, we might have to wait till noon or 5 after when they scatter out of there. But they didn't seem like bad people. They were going to hang around and bust our chops. So hopefully they'll clear out pretty quick afternoon. We'll be able to set up. But anybody that can go up there and help set up tables, canopy. I have a couple of signs to hang up. So I got some string to hang up signs. And then we'll need people to help hand out the T-shirts and the whole. But, oh, yeah, that's the thing. Is if you're playing in the championship game, I won't have the championship shirts until noon when Vinny gets there, so you'll have to come out back to get it. If you can't hang around, then you'll have to wait until I see you again. And the same thing, if you're coming up to play in the 9 to 11 a.m. open skate, again, if you bought a T-shirt or if you bought the package deal, Vinny's showing up, like I say, probably about 11:45-ish, so I probably won't have the shirts until then. So if you come up and leave, I'll have your shirt. I just won't be able to take it with you. So you'll probably, anybody that has a shirt, championship shirts or whatever, sweatshirts, hoodies, all that stuff, that'll be out back. Again, the weather providing, but that'll be around 12 o'clock that we can start handing out all that stuff there. I do plan on having the radar gun up there. I think it'd be kind of cool. We'll take some shots, maybe have some sort of a contest, guess your speed or something like that. Let's see if we can do something like that. I'm going to hopefully bring up the 8 targets so we can maybe set up a couple of nets and have some target practice. But again, the last time we tried that, it gets antsy because only 1 or 2 people can do that at a time. And if you got a lot of people standing around, it doesn't work. So I'll bring it. If we use it, great. If not, great. Maybe we just play hockey the whole day. Feel it out, but I will have the targets and I will have the radar gun with me. I think we could probably use the radar gun somewhere, somehow anyway. What else do I got about that day? That actually might do it as far as all the details going. If any other questions, let me know. Hopefully this answers it. Feel free to stop up. If you just want to stop up and say hi, I know there's a lot of people signed up. Compared to the people that paid for the day and signed up, there's a big difference there. Some guys might just want to pop in and say hi. Perfectly fine. There's no obligation to buy anything or do anything if you just want to stop in and say hi. We do only have enough food for the people that paid, though. So, just if you plan on eating, please let me know so we can bring more in the whole bit. But we didn't plan on 150 people worth of food. There was like 80 people paid for food. So I just don't want to run out on someone that had paid. And I talked to Vinny about that. He says we're all set, so I'm going to trust Vinny Bianco on that. But again, if you wanted to stop up and say hi, you don't have to play, you don't have to eat, you don't have to do anything. Just say hi, take some pictures, shake a few hands, bring me donuts, whatever you want to do. Let's see. All right, a couple of fun facts before we sign off, and that's coming up next. Okay, looking back on last 15 years, first of all, I got to say to everybody, nice job, you guys. I didn't do this at all. This was an effort from a lot of people, even back to day one when we did this. Everything fell into place. We had 4 goalies. We had enough for 4 teams. After the first season got going, we had guys that helped out refs so I could actually play instead of just run it. And it's just kind of how it's been all along, is someone somehow has stepped up, whether it's scorekeeping, whether it's reffing, whether it's, helping me carry this stuff. Because back in the day, where's my back in the day sound? I don't know if I have one. I might. Here we go. So back in the day, in 1999, how we did this league, okay? I might be boring some of you guys here, but here's a little history of the emrhl. We started playing outside, and it was late April of 1999 that we started playing some exhibition games, and then it turned into the league. And what we actually did, there was nets there, but they were pretty beat up. In fact, they had some decent nets, and then they got stolen. They were real heavy-duty nets in this outdoor. It was a tennis court. They still had the holes, if you can believe it, where you put the big posts to secure the tennis nets. The holes are still there. And to this day, I don't think anybody that I can remember ever skated over one of those holes. And there was a good little bump there if you hit that thing. And tennis courts aren't very big when you're putting 8 or 10 guys in there. So we played in an outdoor tennis court with some old beat-up nets. And let me see. We didn't even have benches at the time. In fact, we only could change on whistles from what I remember. We would open the gate and guys would change. And that's how we started the whole thing. Back in 1999. The first championship, actually, back in 1999, we had 4 teams. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had Whalers, Bruins, Sabres, and Canadians. I ended up getting some really inexpensive, just blank shirts to go with the team colors. We had green, blue, gold, and red. No logo or anything. Put some numbers on the back, and that's how we did it. And so even from the beginning, we had matching jerseys. It was all outside. And June 9th, 1999, the Whalers won the first title in emrhl history, which at the time, I think it was either the Wednesday Roller Hockey League or the Beverly Roller Hockey League. I don't know what it was called. It was one of the first inceptions of the league. Dave Belisle was the captain. Timmy Lewis, George Dixon, Tom Bullio, Terry Andrus, and Artie Atkinson, at 51 years old, was the winning goalie the first season back in 1999. 15 years ago, he was 51. He's coming up to play. Or at least he called me and said he's coming up to play this Saturday. He'll probably skate out. I don't think he's playing net anymore. But congratulations to Artie being the first champ up there. So that's how it all started. Outside, on a tennis court. And we had 4 teams going. Every Wednesday night we would play, starting in the spring of 1999. Then it came to 2000. We actually tried to start real early. We tried to start in March the next year. We were so excited because we ended up playing that first year through right to the end of October. The final game outside was 10/27/99. October 27th of 1999 was our last game outside of the first season. And there was the Bruins that won that. Derek Jones, DJ Jones. Actually, myself, I don't remember winning that one. Myself, Jack Copley, Dave Belisle, Terry Andrus again, John Morrison. Oh, my gosh. Remember John Morrison? And Ed Goodwin was the goalie as the Bruins won on that Wednesday night back in 1999. And that was the last game of 1999. Now, we wanted to start up real early. We were so excited. The winter came. We wanted to play so bad. We wanted to start in March. Don't start out anything outside in March in New England. That just doesn't happen. So we tried to get going in March. We got snowed out. The first week we got snowed out, if you can believe it. Yeah. So we ended up pushing it back. By the time we got things going, it was April. So we didn't get to our first championship game until May 17th, and that's when the Flyers won it. Let me see. Steve Burdick was one of the first non-original members to get his name on the trophy. As Eric Higgins, Sean Mello, Mike Noon, who still follows us here on the web, Terry Andrus again, Steve Burdick has mentioned, Jack Copley, and Jay Brown was the goaltender for the Flyers in May of 2000 to take the first title in 2000. Now, I think at that time we had built benches. We had a fence, St. Pierre Fence Company, I think it was, came down, took down the fence, And we bought a bunch of wood, and Spencer and a few other guys come down with tools, and we actually built benches. So we had benches to actually come and go now instead of going out through the gate. And we ended up buying some nets. And now they weren't the top-notch professional nets, but we bought nets. So we would throw the nets in the back of my pickup truck, throw them on the court play, throw them back in the truck, and bring them home. And that's how the second year went back in 2000, was dragging nets to the rink and actually playing. So we played all of 2000, and it got down to very late in the season. It was getting to be October, getting to be really cold because, again, we were outside. And I remember it kept raining and getting cold, and we were running out of time back in October 2000. So we said, okay, here's the deal. We're going to set up a Wednesday. If that gets canceled the following Wednesday. If not, then the very next Thursday. And if that fails, then we're done, and we're going to play inside at Hockeytown. So I think we've been scrimmaging up at Hockeytown in October of 2000. But indeed, the weather did clear, and we did get in the game. And the final game ever played outside at the Cage in Beverly was on October 25th of 2000. Won by the Flames, and that roster consisted of Dave Belisle, Steve Sheridan, yep, that's Steve Sheridan, Bill St. Pierre, yep, that Bill St. Pierre, Dan Leverly, who's now down in Tennessee, John Glidden, Greg Mosier, the Mosier Madness, and the goaltender was Dan St. Pierre back in 2000. The final game ever outside. Then we moved inside. Wait, I need a sound effect for that. Where's my sound effect for that? Then we moved inside. That's a little better. We started playing on Saturday mornings in November of 2000. And then a couple days before Christmas, it was December 23rd of 2000, we had our first ever Hockeytown championship. It was James Conner, Rich Russo, Scott Laporto, Bill St. Pierre again, Mike McKenna, Louis Carmona, Jay Mello, and Dan St. Pierre was the goalie. The team was the Thrashers, but Chris Spencer's actually in the championship photo. He subbed in for Dan in the playoff games. And the Thrashers were our first Saturday champions up at Hockeytown. Then we actually, in the spring of 2001, we moved to a second league at Hockeytown. So we kept the Saturday league going. So that is the original one in Hockeytown. And in the spring of 2001, we started playing on Tuesday nights. And I know some of you are still here that played on Tuesday nights. And if you remember, we had 4 teams. Maybe it might have been 5. I think we started with 4. And we had 5. We had to bye for a while. But we played at 10 and 11 p.m. That's how we got this thing started. So the hardy souls that braved the 10 and 11 p.m. games until we established ourselves and Hockeytown believed in us and we got some earlier times. And now we have Tuesday night all to ourselves. But that's how it started back in spring of 2001. The first Tuesday champions were the Red Tide on May 22nd of 2001. Dennis McGonigal, Louis Carmona, Dave Sweeney, Dave Belisle, Jay Frazier, the Jay Frazier Cup, Tim McGonigal, Jim DiGregorio, and Bill St. Pierre. Holy smoke, Bill St. Pierre's in a lot of these early championships. Whatever happened to that guy? And the goaltender was Chris Spencer. So the Red Tide was the first Tuesday night champion as we look back on some of the league history. So hope I didn't bore you too much. But anyway, that's how it all started 15 years ago. A season outside in 1999, a season outside in 2000, moved inside in 2000, started the Tuesday League in 2001, and here we are, summer of 2014, with 8 teams on Tuesday night and now 10 teams on Saturday morning. So a big round of applause one more time for all you guys, especially guys back in the day that are still with us. In fact, I remember going back one more time. Where's my thing? Here we go. Yeah, going back, time machine one more time. The first season that I actually played was on the Sabres. It was the second. We only played 6 weeks, and we had playoffs. So I think we played everybody twice, and then we had our one-night playoff. So I actually get on a team. I was with John White, Zach Maccaro, Gary Bamford, John Morrison. Jay Brown was in net, and Eric Higgins was on the team. A young Eric Higgins. He didn't show up for the playoffs. We didn't get a sub. He went to Vegas. Eric Higgins went to Vegas on the playoffs. And it was Zach Maccaro that actually won it for us. Zach had, from what I remember, a great game. He scored in the open net to salt this one away for the Sabres. They were the underdogs in that one going into the championship game, but with no Higgins. So I think we had 5 guys playing outside. But so a little bit of league history there of the emrhl. So we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts in just a minute.
Take it to the top, the top. Don't let the feeling stop the top. Take it to the top.
Okay. Gonna wrap things up here on this Wednesday, June 25th, just 3 days away from Alumni Day. I'm really excited to see some of you guys. And there's a lot of people that we haven't seen in a long time that are going to come up and skate. And there's a lot of people we haven't seen in a long time just going to come up and hang out. And I think that's pretty cool too. So again, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 2 hours open skate inside. Championship game from 11 to 12, 12 to 5, open floor outside. We'll have food outside for those that paid for it. We'll have the table, the Paul Bartolino table. We'll have a box if you guys want to make some donations to that. Jay Surratt's been really great in charge of that. He's put together the box. He's kind of handling some of the donations and how they're going to get to their respective places in the whole bit. So that'll be there as well. Just a chance to hang out, say hi, play some hockey, and just basically everybody just celebrating 15 years of craziness, funness, whatever you want to call it, that it's been. And, who would have thought? Who would have thought here we are at 15 years? And there's even talk about some of the guys are talking about maybe after this is all said and done, crashing the China Jade Saturday night. No, not that sound effect. No, seriously. No, Adam Karras is spearheading that effort for everybody to head up to the China Jade here in Beverly to hang out. We've had some drafts there. It's kind of the place up here in Beverly, if you know what I mean. So anyway, so that's going to wrap it up. If you got any questions, hit me up. Hopefully I answered them all. Just, again, especially if you show up between 9 and 11, that's kind of hit or miss. To show up at your own risk, because I don't know how many people are coming. I just want to say hi to people, skate, do whatever we got to do. But again, we have 5 hours out back, and that's where the bulk of the day is going to take place, is after the championship game. So if you can come up early and help out, there's going to be something for everybody to do, whether it's setting up a table or tying up a sign for me, hanging a sign. There's going to be a lot of things to do, nothing real difficult. But the more hands on deck, the better. Handing out shirts, the whole bit. So any help we can get would be great. Even if you want to come and ref the championship game, we could use, I'm thinking about 3 refs for that one. That might be kind of fun. So we're going to need someone to take pictures. We might need a scorekeeper for that game, and maybe even someone to kind of help run the scrimmages too. Maybe, hey, U6 are up next against U6 or whatever. I just want it to be a fun day. That's what I'm hoping it's going to be. So that's my alumni update. I hope to see everybody this Saturday, June 28th, up at Hockey Town. I'm going to try to put a sign on the front door to let everybody know if we're upstairs or out back in case the weather's dicey. If it's sunny, just go out back at noon if you're not already there. Anyway, again, thank you to everybody that's played, that's helped, that's ref, that's scorekeeped, that's done anything at all, that's helped run scrimmages while I was, maybe doing the rat cast or, when I had my foot surgery, they helped me lug stuff up the stairs. Again, this is not a one-man show by any means. So, signing off. Just steps away from the China Jade here in Studio A. I'm the commish Dave Gardner on the emrhl Radio. See you guys at the rink.